I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be...
It is the speech that is still most quoted by school children across the U.S. During his lifetime, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. pushed for equal rights through nonviolent means. And this year, the civil rights leader would have been 85 years old. He was assassinated in 1968. And at the age of 35, he became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Throughout the country, there are programs honoring the memory of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, those programs provide a backdrop for Leon Bibb to offer a few thoughts on Dr. King and why the day and the memory are so special. Leon.
Indeed, it is very special. It is quite special. You know, I grew up in a time when change was coming. Because of Martin Luther King, I am sitting here. Absolutely. And I will share with you my thoughts.
Sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners.
The images are from long ago, and yet in my maturity, they seem like only yesterday. When I think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose life is celebrated on this day and whose legacy is mentioned, I reflect on these images. Because of Dr. King, this nation became a new America, one which is still evolving. At the MLK breakfast in Cleveland today, Martin Luther King's life was celebrated. Some of the problems King addressed, America still addresses.
These are just some of the healthcare disparities that we see. And Dr. King was aware of all these healthcare disparities.
A look back and a look forward. Children were at the Cleveland event. Their faces reflect the King legacy. So too do the faces of those older. This was the MLK Holiday Scholarship Committee annual breakfast celebration, of which News Channel 5 was a sponsor. News Channel 5's Mike Dunstan was there. So too were others who commented on Dr. King and the movement itself and what they both meant.
And I remember being a little girl and my mother and father keeping us out of school during the civil rights to see what has evolved.
What evolved from the civil rights movement of decades ago is reflected at this breakfast. These young people are winners of a contest calling on them to create birthday tribute cards to the memory of Martin Luther King.
Aaliyah Brown, grade 4, Boulevard Elementary School in Cleveland Heights. Rachel Glump, grade 6, Brady Middle School in Pepper Pike. Grace Gal of Solon Middle School.
The spirit of King is in this room and in millions more rooms across this country. This day celebrates the man whose dream is still alive.
When you get, you give. When you learn, you teach. And so it's a day like this that really started with Martin Luther King. There's so much that I know I would not have been here, and Charles would not have been here, medical schools would not have been present for us.
In my home and at my work desk here at Channel 5, there are pictures of the man. I am a child of that movement. I understand Dr. King's efforts paved ways for me and millions more like me. Martin Luther King and the movement lifted black people. Not only blacks, but everyone. America was lifted to a higher level. For those of us who grew out of the accomplishments of the movement, we revisit the movement and the man every moment of every day. I'm Leon Bibb, and that is my perspective.
Great perspective, Leon. And, you know, it is such a good day to think about what King taught us about leadership and giving a voice to the voiceless and making the impossibles possible.
And what he was able to do at so young an age. Remember, when the Montgomery bus boycott began, he was only 26 and rose to national prominence and died at 39.
And a vision and courage.
Like
Thanks,
how you
Leon.
put a new America.
Indeed, indeed.
Leon, thank you.
My pleasure.